Alright everyone, so Boruto chapter 77 has officially been released and I am here to give you guys my review as always. But before we get into the review, I do have to ask you that if you want to show your support for the channel and everything I do here, you know what to do. Leave a like, share this video out there, hit the subscribe button if you're new, ring the bell for notifications, and please comment down below with what you guys thought about this chapter and where do you guys think the story is going to go from here, especially after what happened at the end. So the chapter starts where the previous one left off, with Kawaki confronting Boruto, telling him to essentially let Momoshiki out because Kawaki has known for a while now that Momoshiki and Boruto are in communication, and Boruto's just trying to play it off, trying to essentially tell Kawaki that Momoshiki's not here, you need to calm down, and Boruto is just not able to convince Kawaki. He is absolutely livid, especially with what we learned from him in the previous chapter and how he views the Otsutsuki and what his ultimate goal is: the complete, and I mean complete, eradication of the entire Otsutsuki clan, which would include himself and Boruto. We then see Sarada and Sumire walking back into the room, noticing the confrontation between Boruto and Kawaki, and we see Sumire remembering what Kawaki said after he woke up when he was talking to Naruto. He asked him whether or not he was going to condemn him for killing Boruto, and that's of course when he was told that Boruto was still alive, that he is not dead. And Kawaki was clearly not happy about that. And Sarada is trying to defuse the situation, reminding them that we are on a mission, but Kawaki again just does not care, and that's when Shikamaru contacts him, and Kawaki is trying to tell him that Momoshiki is planning something, and Shikamaru is trying to remind him how Naruto reacted the last time he tried to do something to Boruto, and he's telling him whether or not he wants to see that face on Naruto again, considering how Kawaki feels about Naruto. Now, I thought that this was really interesting because what we're seeing here is Shikamaru essentially trying to do what Naruto would do, which is he would essentially try to talk to the other person, but unfortunately I think that he's just not talking to the right person. Kawaki is just, in my opinion, he cannot be talked off this ledge that he's on right now. Kawaki is at a point where he just absolutely despises the Otsutsuki, and he cares about Naruto so much that he absolutely will not allow anything to happen, even if the threat to Naruto happens to be his own son, and he knows that Naruto will do anything for, you know, his child. That's sort of the dilemma that Kawaki is in right now, and he is just not going to allow any of that to stop him. So when that happens, Kawaki lets Boruto go and he just starts to walk away, and when Boruto asks him where the hell he's going, Kawaki just says he has something he needs to take care of, and Boruto is trying to remind him that we are on a mission, but Kawaki just does not care. And we once again see that Kawaki right now, he just does not care about missions, he doesn't care about the shinobi system, he does not care about any of that stuff. We've seen examples of this in previous chapters where Kawaki has been shown to just absolutely disdain this system that all of these shinobi are following. And he essentially just walks away, again not caring about whatever Boruto or Shikamaru are saying, and he even uses Sukuna Hikona to just shrink himself down to make sure that nobody can see him, and he is just gone. Now Boruto says that he can sense that Kawaki is in the village, he just can't tell where he is specifically. And then we see Ada and Damon also leaving, Boruto trying to convince them to stay because again this is their mission, but Ada of course doesn't care. She's just going to do whatever the hell she wants, and literally no one can stop her, nobody has the power to stop her. And even if someone is on her level in terms of power, that doesn't mean they'll be able to get past Daemon, who would just absolutely destroy them. So when she leaves, she tells Sarada and Sumire to go with her. Apparently they're just planning to go out on this girls only trip, or at least that's what Ada's planning, and she wants Sarada and Sumire to go with her, which of course Shikamaru will want the same thing, because remember, it was revealed to us that Sarada and Sumire are immune to Ada's ability to just charm everyone around her, and Shikamaru has essentially given them the mission to watch over Ada, and if she ever tries anything, that they would be the ones who would probably have to end up stopping her. Now I still don't think that they would be able to, because I don't think they're on her level of power, but if anyone's going to have a chance to even be able to fight her at all, it would be these two. And of course you have Boruto and Kawaki, But as I said, they would still have to deal with Daemon first, and they cannot do that. As it was shown to us in chapter 75, if I remember correctly, when they fought against Daemon and he just absolutely destroyed them. Then we cut over to the dimension where Code is hiding out in. Him and Bug, of course, are hiding in the dimension where Ishiki was keeping the Ten Tails, and we see him still making those Ten Tail soldiers, and Bug asks him, how many are you up to now? And Code reveals he is well over 1,000 at this point, and he's got some spares just stored away in, I'm guessing, whatever dimension those claw marks sends him to. So I feel like this statement was definitely given to us because something is going to happen with those Ten Tail soldiers that he hid away in that dimension that he goes into whenever he uses the claw mark. But he also reveals that he's pretty much lost the element of surprise because Ada is there, but I don't think that's really going to matter to him. I think that he's probably going to find some way around that. And we do see Ada, of course, informing Shikamaru of what's going on. Shikamaru, of course, is upset that Code has 1,000 soldiers made out of the Ten Tails, and Ada does go on to remind him that since they are made from the Ten Tails, then they're probably going to be really strong, or at least they're not going to be weak. And then, of course, she reminds him that Kawaki essentially is viewed by Code as being the sole reason for him losing everything, Ishiki and including Ada. And she says this really funny line that she doesn't see that as an attractive quality in people, so that's kind of why she isn't really all that interested in Code. And we also see this funny moment, or another funny moment, where Ada's just trying out clothes, and Shikamaru basically says, look, let the village take care of all your expenses, you get what you want. And it's just this little moment between Sarada, Ada, and Sumire as they're having their, girls' night out or whatever. And as this is happening, we see Boruto with Daemon, and Daemon is still using Boruto as a horse because he just likes to do that to people. And Boruto is just not happy being there. And Daemon takes another opportunity to crap on Boruto because he just apparently really likes doing that, where he says, man, no wonder you're not popular. And he also reminds him that he's weak and he just has no redeeming qualities whatsoever. Now, it's not that Boruto was weak, it's just that Daemon is incredibly strong. And Boruto even goes on to remind him and saying that, no, it's just you're too damn strong. And Daemon even says that, everyone I've met in the village is just not strong at all. Are there any decent fighters in this village? And that's when he senses something and just immediately gets out of the store. And then apparently the person that he sensed was Himawari. And he immediately walks up to her and asks her who she is. And that's when Boruto finds him. And that's when it's revealed to him that this is Boruto's younger sister. And he immediately jumps towards her and goes for a punch, but then stops right before he hits her. And then Boruto is trying to drag him back, and he's asking her, why didn't she dodge it? It should have been easy for her. Now, keep in mind, this is a punch from Daemon. This is the same guy who took out Boruto, Kawaki, and Code with his limiters removed, which made him even stronger than Jigen. And yet he looked at Himawari and said that a punch from him should have been easy for her to dodge. And that's when Boruto goes on to say that, look, she's not a shinobi, she doesn't even know how to fight. And Daemon is surprised, but then takes another look at her and says, okay, yeah, looking at her now, she is pretty weak, but he remembers sensing an intensity from her before. So Daemon is essentially saying that he is sensing some kind of power from Himawari. So all those moments, the lock-on meme that's been going around with Himawari, apparently that's not just a joke, that's not just a meme that's been integrated into the Boruto story. No, that was essentially hinting to us that Himawari is apparently going to be the Gohan of the Boruto series, where apparently every time she starts to tap into her emotions or she gets a little emotional, she taps into this insane well of power that just immediately skyrockets her to like the top of the tier list in terms of power. And it seems like this is setting up that Himawari is definitely going to be an absolute monster in the future of the series, if she does indeed decide to basically stick with becoming a shinobi. She decides to stick with her training, and it seems like based on what happens at the end of this chapter, that is indeed going to happen. So we then cut to Naruto's house, where him and Hinata are setting up the dinner table, and that's when Kawaki shows up and Naruto and Hinata are surprised that Kawaki's here, and Kawaki makes a statement that the sensory unit is as incompetent as usual because they're relying too much on detecting chakra. And technically he's not wrong. I mean, when you're dealing with these aliens who have all kinds of abilities that you don't even know, and abilities that we don't even know that they have, that probably haven't been revealed to us yet, you do need to update your system. You need to come up with new ways to watch over people than just relying on finding their chakra. Technically, what Kawaki said here isn't wrong, but when he is there, he essentially tells Naruto to take a seat because he has something that he needs to talk to him about. So Kawaki essentially tells him that he's grateful to him, that before he met him, he was nothing, he was just an empty vessel, he was basically just walking around with absolutely no reason to live, and Naruto came in and changed that. And then Naruto was trying to tell him that, you know, I didn't really do much, you were always a kind-hearted person who was always willing to sacrifice himself to protect others, that's just who you are. And Kawaki tries to tell him that, no, you're the one who enabled me to do so, and you essentially showed a side of me that I didn't even know existed, and that I will do anything in order to protect you without any hesitation, even if it means giving up my own life. And he goes on to tell him that right now my world revolves around you, and even he's surprised by just how much that is. And he goes on to essentially remind him of a fact that of this world that they're living in that I think even Naruto kind of forgot about, that unfortunately in this world, usually it's the good people who end up dying first and the bad people still continue to live. And he said that as long as there are the Otsutsuki, then it'll continue to be the case. Good people are always going to be the ones who end up dying first. And then Naruto tries to tell him, well, that's what a shinobi's purpose is. It's to prevent that from happening by getting rid of these people. And then Kawaki says, no, ninja are just the ones who die first, even before the good people. And then Kawaki goes on to say that I only understand this because I've gained their powers, and this is what it takes to take on an Otsutsuki. It doesn't matter whether you're a shinobi, if you don't have the power to take on these extraterrestrial beings, then the only option for you left is just to die. And he doesn't want Naruto to die. And I find this really interesting because Kawaki is essentially acknowledging the fact that right now Naruto just doesn't have the power to take on the Otsutsuki. You know, we just recently learned that there's a member of the Otsutsuki clan who was able to ascend to godhood. What would happen if that Otsutsuki came to Earth? There would be nothing that Naruto could do. Not Naruto, not Sasuke, not Kawaki, not Boruto, not even Ada or Daemon will be able to do anything against him because he's just that strong. And Naruto is living in this world where he thinks that, well, as long as we fight against him, then we'll be able to do anything. But Kawaki has essentially realized that there are some beings out there where you just need power to be able to fight against them, that there is no other option. If you try to go up against them when you don't have the power to do so, then you're just gonna die. And again, technically what he's saying isn't incorrect. Kawaki is 100% correct here. Think about what happened at the 4th Great Shinobi War. Naruto and Sasuke were pretty damn powerful, but if they didn't get the power from Hagoromo, then they wouldn't have been able to do anything against Madara. They wouldn't have been able to do anything against Kaguya. What Kawaki says here is correct. And that's when we get the big bombshell. That's when Kawaki says something to them that completely shocks them. He says that his mission is to destroy the Otsutsuki, every single one of them. And he's going to use their own powers against them. And that's when Naruto essentially starts to realize, wait, every one of them? And Kawaki says that I only came here because I wanted to do this out of respect for you, by essentially telling you firsthand that this is what I am going to do. And Hinata, of course, is putting the pieces together. And that's when he reveals to them what his first thought was the second he found out that Boruto was alive. Not that he was relieved that Boruto was still alive. No, he was upset that he failed to kill him. He even felt guilty that he messed up what he was supposed to do, what Boruto himself even told him to do. And he tells him, this time I will. And right as he says that, Hinata just walks up to him and slaps him and calls him insane, and that no decent human being would think like this. And Kawaki says, I'm sure that seems like to you Then again, you're right, only a crazy person would kill their own brother. Kawaki once again reminds them that I am completely calm and I'm thinking completely logically. And then we have this heartbreaking moment where Hinata is just crying. She's begging Kawaki not to do this, and she knows that neither Naruto or her even have the power to stop him. There's nothing they can do, so all they can really do right now is beg. Kawaki once again reminds him that this is the conclusion he's reached. There is no other way, because he knows that neither of you will be able to do it. Now, some people could misinterpret this in saying that Kawaki is essentially saying that Naruto doesn't have the power to be able to take on Boruto, especially if Momoshiki takes over. I don't think that that's the case. I think he's saying this because he knows that Naruto would never be able to kill his own son. He's made that very, very clear, and Kawaki is essentially stating that once again to them, and that he is going to be the one to do it, even if it results in them absolutely hating them for it, even if it results in them hating them to the point where they actually want him dead. And then Naruto, of course, looks to him and says, I'm not going to let you do that. You're going to have to kill me before you get to Boruto. Will you be able to do it? And that's when we get the moment that I know a lot of fans out there have been waiting for it to happen, have been waiting to see it happen. And we get the moment where Kawaki essentially opens a portal in front of Hinata and Naruto, and that's when they start getting pulled into whatever dimension he opened a portal to. And we get this beautiful page where you gotta give Ikimoto credit for how he just laid out this entire page. It's just absolutely beautiful. You see this panel where Naruto and Hinata are being sucked into this portal, and you cut to a panel that shows Kawaki's dojutsu now has 5 spokes as opposed to before where it was only limited to 4 spokes. And we see this next panel where Naruto's reaching out, trying to reach out to Kawaki. He fails, and you can see the way his eyes are drawn. There's just nothing but fear in his eyes because he knows what this means. He is about to be trapped. There's nothing he can do about it. There's nothing he can do to escape, and his son is now doomed, and he cannot do anything about it. And it is just absolutely beautiful. I love how this page was drawn. And then once that is done, Kawaki goes on to say that once all of this is over, you're welcome to kill me, so just wait until then. And the very last panel of this chapter is a frame of the Uzumaki family, just absolutely broken. Perfect symbolism right there. And that is where the chapter ends. Guys, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. How do you feel about this chapter? What do you think is going to happen from now on? I mean, we know Boruto's not going to die because we still see him, in the time skip. But what would this mean for characters like Shikamaru? What would this mean for characters like Boruto? What would this mean for Sasuke? What would he do once he finds out what happens to Naruto, and that he was sealed in another dimension, and that maybe if he still had his Rinnegan, he could go get him, but he doesn't, and he just accepted that? Is he going to feel maybe a little bit guilty that he didn't at least try to find a way to restore it? I don't know. Let me know all your thoughts in the comment section down below. And if you like this video, and if you want to see more from me and what I do here on this channel, please consider leaving a like, sharing this video out there, hit the subscribe button if you haven't, ring the bell for notifications, and I hope I see you guys for my review of chapter 78 when it officially gets released. Bye for now.